Hello and welcome. This is Boles.tv. I'm Santa Dave. BOLES.tv. As you can see, we have a wonderful, spectacular effect here for you today on Christmas Eve, here on the East Coast, 9 a.m., Monday through Friday. Now, do we like the sunglasses? As you can tell, it's very bright in here because I have all these lights going on. My camera's going crazy with these lights, doesn't know what to do with it. But as I move my face, you can see all the lights in the room, which is a little annoying. That's my street name, annoying. So maybe we'll have a poll if we should remove the sunglasses or not. Then it snowed overnight here on the East Coast. I call that a white Christmas because this is Christmas Eve, and it's a very light dusting. Other people around me that perhaps go by the name of Dr. Janna Marie say that's not a white Christmas because it didn't snow on Christmas Day. So will we have a white Christmas or not? I believe we do, but I have been outvoted. Now the microphone's a little high because I want to show off my decorations here. I'm going to lower it just a little bit. I'm going to take these off. My future's so bright, I've got to wear shades. Are you old enough to remember that song? Hello! Welcome! Oh, it's bright in here. Oh, I got the lights right in my eye. And I can't see out of the ball. Big show today. A lot going on. Lots of fun coming your way. And one thing we have to discuss is the resurgence of the mystery of the Trader Joe's strawberry-flavored licorice twists. They have reappeared after being lost momentarily. And the first round of these soft strawberry licorice twists occurred while Janna Marie was sleeping. Other people in the house may have been awake, but we don't know exactly what happened to the original bag of twists. The licorice bag of twists that we showed you earlier also disappeared. We're tracking that as well. We're tracking Santa and we're tracking our licorice twists. There they are. They're very delicious. These made a reappearance when Janna Marie happened to go into Trader Joe's and then come home. These might be the original missing twists, or they may be an imposter. And the only way to find out is in the eating. Which will be happening very soon, because they are irresistible. Even if you don't like licorice, you'll love these. Twizzlers stick to your teeth. They're hard to chew. Trader Joe's soft strawberry licorice twists with no licorice. Extremely delicious. Highly recommended on Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve, Dora. Hello. I'm so nice to see you and have you with us. We hope you are doing well and feeling good and healthy and positive. Only good news. Even bad news is good news, because it gets twisted around. There's no such thing as bad news, because it always has a good side somewhere. Oh, gosh. What else is going on today? Oh, let me find this for you. Now, this is an interesting conversation to have with you. About this idea of tracking Santa Claus. Now, how do we feel about this? Is this a good... I'm going to click on this close button. If it closes the whole thing, we're going to be... Oh, we're in trouble. All right, so we'll go back. This is the NORAD site for officially tracking Santa Claus. Now, how do we feel about this? Is it misleading? And you know what I mean if you're an adult. Do we track the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny in the same way? I don't think we do. Are we tracking the impossible and the inevitable? Perhaps we are. I don't know if he's over... Hello, thank you for the follow. I don't know if there's such a thing as a Virginia, but yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. Even if we're currently heading for Sapporo, Japan. 40 seconds, we're going to hit Japan. Now that should be interesting. I wonder what happens when you hit Japan when you're Santa Claus. Does something happen? Does something explode? How many gifts have been delivered? Oh, over 1 billion gifts have been delivered so far. Oh, I guess those are gifts flying out of Santa's sleigh. Not his backside. We're getting to Japan in 14 seconds now. What's fun about this thing is you can move it, so you can put Santa in different perspectives, depending on where you go. Oh, there's Sapporo, Japan. We're going right over right now. 2 seconds, 1 second, boom. And we're turning. That's what happens. We hit a landmark and we're turning to go find other good children in the world. Next, we go to Tokyo, Japan in 2 minutes. Well, Santa's a little slow. I didn't know Japan was quite that large. So in 3 minutes, Santa will be in Tokyo, Japan. And it looks like he is distributing gifts over the water as well. Giving presents and gifts to all the lovely fishes. Now, if we turn this, okay, so Santa can be going to us or going away from us. Can we go? Oh, we can zoom in on Santa as well. Oh, look at this. Santa looks a little like Homer Simpson to me. For people who know who Homer Simpson is. Oh, that's fun. How close can we get to Santa Claus? Can we get right in his sleigh? Oh my goodness, we can ride along with Santa. Oh, now that's fun. I could do this all day. And there's no sound to this, it doesn't appear to be, which is good, because sound usually means music, and music means you're going to get turned off in DC. I may take down notices. And I wanted to play some Christmas music, but it seems whenever I try to play new music here, I get takedown notices, even though I have a commercial license from the good dudes at Slip Stream. Now, can we go with the reindeer as well, or are we just stuck? I guess we're just stuck with Santa Claus. Now, what are these things? They look like photographs. Oh, look at this. Russia. Oh, this is Wikipedia, where Santa's been. Now, how do I get Santa back? Okay, I guess we're going back to Santa. So we're checking in where he was. And now we go right back into him. Look at his gifts he's giving away with all the reindeer. 1 minute to Tokyo. And all the places in between. Well, that's neat, too. They've really rendered this well. NORAD. Well, we can go right on top of Santa, too. I'm a little mesmerized by this. Do we wish we had snow snowing on Santa? Is there snow at the level that Santa flies? I don't know. And this is the 3D view. You can click at the very top and get a 2D view of Santa. But what fun is that? We want full-on Santa. And I love that he's wearing a mask. Which I believe also indicates that Santa is and has been vaccinated several times. Because Santa is all about safety and health care and well-being. It's the only way to fly. Absolutely right, Dora. And have you seen the news that all these airlines are canceling flights? 200 flights canceled just this morning. Why? Not because of demand. Because people are sick with Omicron virus. It's spreading everywhere. And they're saying, oh, it's not as bad as Delta. But they're saying the reason it's not as bad as Delta. Oh, did we miss Tokyo? We're going to a new place in Japan. It's not as bad as Delta because people are vaccinated. But if you're not vaccinated, it's going to be terrible. It's going to eat you alive. Listen to Santa. I missed the turn at Tokyo. So, Kanazawa, Japan in 10 seconds, and we're going to see if we turn again. And if we turn again, then we'll know Santa's on the right track. I love all the gifts that are being delivered. It makes me very happy. Oh, we are turning. I love the turn. We're in Japan right now. This is just lovely. Now we're going to Nagoya, Japan. Well, something else that's fun that we investigate quite a lot on this Boles.tv live stream. And speaking of the stream, Dr. Janna Marie will be here in about an hour to give you a wonderful lesson in medical health care via American Sign Language. You're going to learn all the latest signs for coronavirus and infection and shots and all the other signs. And you may ask, where did this Janna Marie get her doctor title from? It's a fair question. Her diploma is from Boles.tv, just so you know. And she has a white coat and everything, so she's very official looking. And she has props. And it's going to be a wonderful time. And then over the weekend, Janna Marie is going to be here with her own show at 11 a.m. Saturday, Sunday. Yes, tomorrow, Christmas Day. We'll see if we have a white Christmas or not. She will be here chatting, teaching, on her show, Ask a Deaf Person, where you can show up and email her at janna@boles.tv, ask her a question, or show up in text and chat, ask her a question. What's up? Talk about disability. She has some fun stories to tell. I know you'll enjoy that a lot. And you can also email me, too, david@boles.tv, if you have a question about the show. So we love to look for these hidden things in photographs. And usually the hidden things are hidden in cartoon-like things. And this one I thought, oh, well, this could be fun. This is a real-life photograph of sheep. And there's a penguin hiding in here somewhere. Now, what kind of penguin? Is it a real penguin? Is it a perfect penguin? Is it a cartoon penguin? I didn't know. And I looked and 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 looked. There's no penguin in here. Then the people who are running this little fun thing, and you can kind of see who they are down at the very bottom, it's printed down there, sent the solution with the penguin circled. And I'll tell you, I felt a little bit ripped off. I don't think this is a fair visual puzzle. I think it's just too hard. But maybe I'm not a visual enough person to understand this. So we're going to click in on this a little bit so we can just look around with me, see what you see. We'll look at the top part of the puzzle and see, do you see a penguin somewhere? I guess it could be, the theory was, anywhere in the image. It could be on the ground, in the sky, on a sheep, in a cloud, in a tree, in the dirt. So that's the top part of the image, and then we go down. I guess the penguin could be in the muck and the dirt and the soil, looking for a penguin. I thought it was going to be a cartoon penguin, but it turned out it's not a cartoon penguin. That's a clue I'll give you right now. This is where this is coming from. Here's the credit at the bottom. Where is the penguin? If you see the penguin, shout out. If you don't see a penguin, you are not alone. And I don't know what the blue on the back of the sheep is. I don't know what it means. It's not a penguin. Still interesting as we try to figure out what's going on in this image. And I will give you a hint. The penguin is in this part of the image. Do you see a penguin? On Christmas Eve in New York City. Even now, looking at this, I don't see the penguin. And I know where the penguin is. There's not a penguin in this photograph. I've tortured you enough. Here's the penguin. What? Now, first of all, I think this is unfair because the penguin is not looking like a penguin. The penguin has been, in my opinion, unfairly modified and put on his back, facing the sky, which you would never see a penguin looking like that. A penguin should be upright, so it's a recognizable shape based on a reality. But no, they blended the penguin onto the back of this sheep looking up at the sky. Do you see that as a penguin? This is the original image. Can you see the penguin there? I know where the penguin... We know where the penguin is. There's no penguin. And then we look here. There's the outline of where the penguin is. I'm a little disappointed. But there's no disappointment on Christmas Eve. There's only fun. And so we're going to continue to have fun. We found the penguin among the sheep. And now we're going to have a little interesting bit of information that the Matterhorn is vibrating. Vibrating, you say? How could that be? It's a great big mountain. And I have been told that the Earth is always vibrating, reverberating. And there are scientists who believe that if you, and I have experienced this, I will tell you this firsthand, that if you go someplace quiet, outside, like on a hilltop, where there are no people, no cars, no sound. Now, you have to be careful when you go and where you go, because nature itself is very noisy. Animals make noise, insects make noise. If you're by the ocean is very loud. And people don't really realize how loud the ocean is. You go to, I want to live by the ocean, and have your windows open, and you'll never sleep again, because the ocean is very, very loud and scary. It's a lot of power in an ocean. And there are scientists who believe, and I believe it, even though I'm not a scientist, that if you go to a hilltop and just sit on the ground and quietly listen, or put your hands on the ground, you can feel the earth vibrating. You can hear a very low hum. But you have to really pay attention, and you can't have any distractions. If it's a windy day and the wind is in your hair and in your ears, you will not hear the humming. But the humming is there. We all know the humming is there, but actually experiencing the humming is very interesting. And the theory is that humming is an ongoing reverberation that just keeps happening from the Big Bang. When either we were created as a universe or as an Earth, or when a comet slammed into us and killed all the dinosaurs, this is the reverberation that is still vibrating around us. And there are some people who say that's just ridiculous. And I say, go find out for yourself. So there's this new study about the Matterhorn. Now, why they decided to figure out if the Matterhorn is vibrating or not is very interesting. And the conclusion of this in-depth study is we presented new ambient vibration data from 2 broadband seismic stations installed at the summit and ridge of one of the European Alps' tallest mountains, the Matterhorn, which we processed for frequency, content, and polarization attributes and compared to a local reference station to identify resonant modes and spectral amplification of ground motion. Our results demonstrate large site-to-reference spectral amplitude ratios. And here are the photographs of them doing all of this. There's the Matterhorn and the summit and where they place their sensors. And what they're looking for, and the vibrations in the room, and what's happening. And here is their visualization of how the Matterhorn is vibrating. Now, I don't believe it's vibrating this violently, but it's vibrating within these extremes. Now, that's scary. To think that the Earth is rotating and vibrating on its own with its own hum. And on top of all that, you have a mountain, the Matterhorn, swaying back and forth, and not in the breeze. It's vibrating because it's vibrating. Maybe it's amplifying the original Big Bang. I don't know. But it's a little fascinating and slightly frightening to think what's going on. And for those of you who want to know and who need to know, this is the official study. You can download the PDF for free. You can read it all about yourself. And I'm going to put right now that link in our chat. So it's part of the permanent record. You can go right there yourself and investigate it and be your own scientist and find out why a mountain can vibrate and move like that. It looks like a carnival ride. I think red is probably dangerous. And the yellow is, be careful where you step. It's yellow snow. Not really. And you can hear someone's car alarm beeping in the background. And that means it's time for our very first Christmas Eve blood pressure break. I will see you momentarily. I'm so glad you're with us. we are back. Boles.tv, thank you for being here on Christmas Eve. We have snow on the East Coast. Very beautiful, but there's not much of it. But at least it's here, which was a surprise. I didn't know it was going to snow overnight. Well, now it's time to check in on Santa Claus. Where is he now? Heading for the Great Wall of China in 1 minute and 47 seconds. Well, that sounds very fun. It's very fun to track. And as we saw before, Santa is wearing a mask. Which leads us into our next shocking and disappointing story. This is from the Flatwater Press in Nebraska, which is a free press publishing articles that nobody else wants to publish. And a lot of the writers from Flatwater Press, Flatwater is the Indian name for Nebraska. Oto, O-T-O-E, Oto, Indians named Nebraska Flatwater. That's what it means. Nebraska is Oto for Flatwater. And there are two big newspapers now in Nebraska, Omaha World Herald, Lincoln Journal-Star, and they're basically the same newspaper, run by the same enterprise. They share the same writers. No journalism, really. They just republish AP stories, from what I'm seeing in my subscription. Not a lot of interesting things going on. No hardcore reporting. No interesting stories. It's just republication from other places. It's a sad state of affairs. So Flatwater Press said, hey, we're going to do stories that other people don't want to do. And we're not going to worry about money, and we're not going to worry about advertising, because we're not going to take any. Oh, Dora just said, ran to the window. No snow here. Boo-hoo. I don't mind a little snow. Well, that's interesting. It's so interesting how here in Jersey City, 11 minutes away from Manhattan, closer to Manhattan than Brooklyn, the weather is so different. Janna Marie can be in New York City and say, oh, it's sunny here. And I say, well, it's raining here. And the Hudson River's between us, so don't think the water doesn't make a difference. And she'll say, oh, it's such a wonderful, bright, sunny day. And I'll say, it's snowing here, and it's very viciously cold and windy. And we have a little light dusting of snow here, and Dora sees nothing. It's crazy. So here's a really, really well-written article from the Flatwater Press talking about how small-town hospitals in the Midwest, in Nebraska, have COVID patients. Actually, they are not COVID patients. They are people who need to have surgeries other than something to do with COVID. And these desperate people cannot get into the big hospitals because the big hospitals are full with unvaccinated people who have COVID. And we've heard those stories, but this is one that's very well written. As William Keeler struggled to breathe, as he grew woozy and unresponsive, they hooked him up to machines to shove air into his lungs. The worried staff at the small-town hospital in Auburn, Nebraska, kept calling the big city hospitals. Big city hospitals in Nebraska are Omaha and Lincoln. Omaha 300,000, Lincoln 186,000. That's a big city hospital for Nebraska. They called every hospital in Omaha, no room. They called Fremont, a very small town too, no chance. They called nearby out-of-state hospitals, no dice. They called Bryan Health, it's a hospital in Lincoln, Nebraska, where a nurse put Keeler on the list. It is a blinking list of names on a computer screen, a digital documentation of ages and illnesses and notes. The list did not exist in its current form until last year. It's grown longer and larger as the latest waves of COVID-19 sicken and send mostly unvaccinated people to the Lincoln Hospital. And on the news today, I saw that there are doctors in Minnesota Sick people come in, demanding ivermectin, demanding this, demanding that. What do you know? You're a doctor. My opinion's just as important as yours. And they said a year ago, people were grateful to go to the hospital and get help. Now they go in there to fight with the doctors. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But it's a good thing that Trump said, hey, get vaccinated. If you support me and the vaccines that I helped get here, and he did, go get a shot. And now they're turning against him. All the MAGA wackos are turning against Trump. Oh, it's not really Trump. He's been brainwashed. Oh, it's fabulous. William Keeler does not have COVID-19. He's a retired tugboat captain, which is shocking. I didn't even know Nebraska had tugboat captains, but they do, from Peru, Nebraska. A man proud of his career spent piloting ships down the mighty Mississippi. He's 83 years old with congestive heart failure. He's the sort of patient who has always been quickly transferred from a small-town hospital to a big city one, but not on December 7th. Keeler was 20th on the list. The next day 9, then 7, then back to 9 because too many people were coming into Brian's ER with COVID. Then he was 4th. For 2 days, 3 days, the staff at Nemaha County Hospital in Auburn, Nebraska, the people caring for Keeler, called Lincoln and waited. The Bryan Hospital nurses, the keepers of the list, answered and waited. Keeler's loved ones waited and worried. The horror of the list is simple. It's war, it's triage, right? It's proof that one of the biggest, best hospitals in Nebraska is currently being forced to ration medical care. Bryan Hospital is not able to admit very sick patients it would normally admit because its emergency rooms, regular rooms, intensive care rooms, makeshift, overflow rooms, waiting rooms, and even hallways are packed with patients. COVID-19 patients. For years, that call from the Nemaha County Hospital to Bryan would have been routine. The Lincoln Hospital rarely turned down a transfer before COVID-19 and never delayed admitting a critically ill patient. But now every time a small-town hospital phones, there's a short conference call with a doctor and the employee running the bed control. The key question is, do you have a bed? And the current answer is always, almost, always, not yet. On a recent day in Nebraska, 29, almost all of them, waiting transfers from rural hospitals, sat on waiting lists. There's a chart with a gray line denoting a normal busy time at Bryan and a red line illustrating the hospital at its surge capacity. Since August, Bryan Hospital has crossed that red line almost as many days as it has not. Every time we pop above that red line, that's when there's not a realistic place to put them. There's a house supervisor on the receiving end of those calls, and they are going one by one on who gets what and who gets what bed. It's heartbreaking for the staff. Bryan Hospital staff has converted the gastrointestinal lab into a space to put hospital patients at night. They have placed patients in rooms meant for observing people who have undergone surgery. They have parked a dozen beds in the hallways of the emergency room. The ER looks like a war zone. And it's all unavoidable. Just get a shot. And this is just something that I found on the internet. In my inbox. Promote this. The life cycle of the pandemic coronavirus. This is what it looks like. Really sad. Scary stuff. Stage 5. Stage 1 is the viral entry, all right, through your nose usually. 2, it gets inside your cell, and the spikes attach. 3, coronavirus remodels your cell. The virus transforms the cell's ER, an internal membrane network, into bubble-like structures called double membrane vesicles. vesicles, DMVs. These might provide a safe haven for more viral RNA to be replicated and translated. Exit? Once the newly made molecules assemble, a complete virus particle, it leaves the cell. Comes in, infection leaves. Stage 5, the last slice. A host enzyme named furin makes a crucial cut at the site of 5 amino acids on the spike protein. That prepares the virus to strike another cell. Variants like Omicron and Delta have a higher proportion of SNPed protein spike proteins, helping them infect cells more efficiently. Talk about man-made misery. It's right there. Perfect story in Auburn, Nebraska. And that guy finally got in, got his heart surgery. They sent him home to clear a bed. He got sick again, didn't have enough oxygen, so they flew him, emergency flight, back to Bryan, where he stayed a few more days. And they got rid of him again to make room for more sick COVID patients and sent him home. He said normally he'd stay here for 3 weeks. He said, we can't do that anymore. As far as I know right now, he is still alive. And speaking of other sciences, this is in the news as well. Fascinating. Baking soda is good for everything. You can gargle with it. You can get healthy with it. And now there's this new study that exercising in the heat, as we know, can lead to hyperventilation and decreased performance and risk of a heat stroke. In a first-of-its-kind study, researchers in Japan investigated whether drinking a sodium bicarbonate baking soda beverage could mitigate the effects of exercising in the heat. What a wonderful idea. The team recruited 11 healthy men for a crossover-style study. Participants each completed 2 experimental sessions consisting of 1 trial and 1 control. And what happened is the sodium bicarbonate, the baking soda, showed a number of improved metrics. Participants showed reduced measures of hyperventilation, improved ratios of carbon dioxide in the blood, and greater blood flow in the brain. Perhaps most telling, the participants reported lower perceived exertion. Excuse me. And here's the little graphic of what they tried to do from the Journal of Applied Physiology, not psychology, physiology. Oh, there's Dora. It was the night before Christmas and COVID was raging. Horrible and sad, like you said, preventable. That's the most fascinating thing is COVID is preventable. You go get the vaccine, you're done. And people don't want to do it. They think they know more. The lie outweighs the truth of the science. And now maybe that's going to change just a little bit with Trump standing up and say, hey, I had COVID, I got help, then I got the shot, I got a second shot, I got a booster, and I'm the one who invented these vaccines. Okay, that's fine. It's true that he helped. Give him the credit for it, my gosh. But will his people follow? Or have they gone too far off the other end? I don't know. I don't understand it. And then to go into a hospital and argue with the doctor? And the families are suing the doctors for not giving them ivermectin and all these other medications that have been proven not to work for COVID? How can you argue with a family member who is irrational and ridiculous? I'm glad I'm not a doctor because I would say, well, if you don't like the care we're providing, please get up and leave. Go somewhere else. But I'm sure these doctors are terrified they're going to be sued. So baking soda gets rid of heat. It makes you feel good, and it's healthy for you. And just in case you're like me and you're obsessive about these sort of things, here's a link in chat to the official study that gives you all the details of how to feel better and do better by exercising, by drinking baking soda. And this is really one of the most fascinating stories that I have ever come across, at least in the last 2 days. There is new research about elephants and adolescent elephants, and we're making the big leap, after we finish this interesting story, into the next idea. But the research is this, that the removal of older male elephants in a group, in a family, in a community of elephants, and old male elephants have longer tusks, and they are often the targets of trophy hunters. Like Donald Trump Jr., right? Didn't he cut off the nose, the trunk of an elephant and hold it up? Could lead to increased human-wildlife conflict. The study examined the behavior of 281 male elephants in an all-male area of Botswana over a period of 3 years, so it's a long-term study. Elephants were divided into 4 age groups: adolescents, 10 to 15 and 16 to 20 years, and adults, 21 to 25 and over 26 years. And the results found that with fewer old bull elephants around, male elephants were more likely to be aggressive toward non-elephant targets like vehicles, cars, tourists, livestock, and other species. The adolescent elephants, in particular, left alone without their older peers, were more aggressive and fearful to non-elephant targets when they were alone compared to with other males. That indicates that socially isolated adolescents may also be an increased threat to people. Our research draws attention to what is often a rather overlooked area in animal behavior, that the complex relationships and connections that occur between males in non-breeding all-male societies. It appears the presence of more knowledgeable, older elephants in groups may play a key role in keeping the younger, less experienced males calm, lowering their perception of a current threat level, which means there's less risk of aggression toward humans and other species. Alternatively, older male elephants, bulls, may police other male aggression directed toward non-elephant targets. So that's beautiful and sad that these male elephants are not abandoning their families, they're being shot and killed by people. But then we think about people, and we think about how communities and families change with the removal of fathers and older people who are wise, and the effect that has on younger minds and adolescents and kids growing up without, in some cases, strong male father figures. And there are some people that say, oh, a dad doesn't matter. A mom can be a dad. And I'm always of the mind, I don't think that's true. A mom is a mom and a dad is a dad. And that has nothing to do with gender. It has to do with the role in the family. Some people have 2 moms, some people have 2 dads, and they're still messed up. Some people have a dad and they're messed up. But overall, it's very interesting that what happens to communities, let's say a racial community where they are disproportionately imprisoned because of skin color, and their removal from the family unit, and their effect on the young kids left behind. They need the wisdom and the regret of the old bull. Don't do that. You'll get in trouble. Don't do what I do. Do what I do. Follow me here. Follow me there. And you see that with older guys dealing with younger kids. They kind of tell them to calm down, don't make trouble, try to get along with other people. They model behavior. And when the model is missing, people can't really get that wisdom on their own. They become scared and aggressive, just like a young adolescent elephant. A young boy under pressure, not having male guidance in his life, is a little scared. I could use some guidance and some calming. So elephants are people, and people are elephants. That's my take for the day, because it is Christmas Eve, and that is what I believe. Where's Santa now? Oh, we're still heading for China. Cheng saw China at 1 minute and 44 seconds. And with that, we're going to take another blood pressure break. I'll see you momentarily. We are back from break. I'm David Boles. This is Boles.tv, Monday through Friday. Live, streaming live, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. And today we're celebrating with lights and magic. We have a little cardinal on the tree. We have a sparkle tree here. We have a regular tree here. We have a snowman. We have a snowflake. Not a snowflake flake. Not a political snowflake, but a real fun snowflake. Plucked from the ground this morning in our covering of white snow. And we have lights. And it's interesting because this is a purple light, which looks like a white light. And this is a blue light, which does look a little blue. I don't know why the purple's not showing. That's interesting. In person, it's really beautiful. I should take a photograph of it. Maybe I will. Maybe I just will. Said with resolve. Janna Marie is getting ready to make her appearance here on Boles.tv. In about 10 minutes, Dr. Janna is in the house, making a house call, as she teaches you some medical signs in American Sign Language. Learn about coronavirus, my head hurts, I feel nauseous. You'll learn the signs, the vocabulary, and then she's going to teach you how to put together a sentence or two where you can get help. And that reminds me of something that I don't think I've ever shared here before. But it's on point, and it deserves to be shared, so I'm going to share it right now. This is a website we created probably 20 years ago, the first one of its kind. SOSASL.com. How to communicate with people who are hearing and you know sign language. And you do it all within this web interface. And here's an example. Who? You click on who. And there are all the links. Who, what, when, where, responses 0 to 10. Who? Me, my mother, my father, my baby, my daughter, my son, my neighbor, my stepmother, stepfather, sister, brother. Who's having the problem? Mother. Okay, so now you know who. What is the problem? That's the sign. Help what? Body hurt. Problem. Weapon. Feeling bad. This is how it's signed. So the deaf person communicate with the first responder or the police department or the hospital. Is it about drugs? We'll say a weapon. Okay, who, what, when. So we're still in what? What is the weapon? Was it a gun? Was it a knife? Was it a baseball bat? Matches, chain, rope, a fist, a foot. I'm not sure. I don't know what the weapon was. We'll say chain. Now we're at when. When did this happen? Today? Yesterday? Tomorrow? Last week? This month? I don't know when it happened. Last week. Yes, Dora, please show this. This is a very old website. It's very simple. We have not updated it to new technology. We want this to be as simple, basic coding, HTML coding as possible. So it can run on the widest amount of browsers. If it's a 10-year-old computer, people can still use this very, very, very basic website to communicate. Where did this happen? At home, at work, at school. And this can go the other way. This can be a police officer trying to render aid to a deaf person, and the police officer can use this website and get information. It happened in a house, school, apartment, a dorm. It happened at a store. It happened on the street. It happened in a hotel. I don't know. It happened in a dorm. Okay? Responses. Okay, so you have who, what, when, where. And now you can ask other questions. Are you injured? Yes. No. Maybe. Are you okay? I don't know. Are you injured? Yes. And then we have responses 0 to 10. If you need numbers, how are you feeling 1 to 10? What's happening? What's going on? How many people were there? 5 people were there. How many times were you stabbed? 3 times. So this is a basic communication portal for emergency first responders to use to communicate primarily with deaf people or people with low language skills. And it's in ASL. And it's one of our proudest things we've ever created together as a team. And deaf people can use it too. You just pull up SOS ASL and go. English language and ASL together for medical, police, and fire first responders. Where's the fire? In my apartment. Who's there? My mother. What happened? I was hit. Where? At home. Who? My father. And all of these are images, and they're very well placed and low resolution, so they load very quickly. My baby is in trouble. What is wrong with your baby? The body is hurt. What? Where is the body hurt? The head, the brain, the eye. My baby is hurt in the eye. When did this happen? Today. Where did this happen? At home. Is the baby okay? Maybe. And then if you need numbers. It's really one of the neatest things we've ever put together, and it's very fast and very efficient, and it makes a difference in people's lives. Now, before Janna Marie herself gets here, and she is the star of those images, by the way, the beautiful and talented Dr. Janna Marie, doctorate from the University of Nothing, known as Boles.tv. Well, in case you didn't know, McDonald's is in many ways, some believe, poisoning young people with their terrible, unhealthy food. And there are 15 countries where McDonald's has restaurants. In the USA, Australia, UK, Canada, UAE, Portugal, and Panama. Romania, Lebanon, Malaysia, Brazil, and South Africa, upper middle income. The first were high income. And lower middle income, Indonesia, Egypt, and India. And this team of researchers captured all the screenshots that McDonald's posted on Instagram, on their Instagram for these particular countries from September to December 2019, and added up the number of followers and likes and comments. 15 accounts maintain a total of 10 million followers for McDonald's and generated 3.9 million likes. The 3 lower middle income countries had more posts from McDonald's than the 5 upper middle income countries. 324 versus 227. Child-friendly posts were more common in lower middle-income countries than high-income countries. Around 1 in 8, 12% of the posts in high-income countries included child-friendly posts compared with around 1 in 5 in lower middle-income countries. The company's Instagram accounts in high-income countries depicted more healthy habits than those of upper middle-income countries or those of lower-income countries. And just 1 in 7 posts in high-income countries included price promotions and free giveaways compared with 40% in the lower middle-income countries. Price is a key component of a marketing mix and is often used to aid consumer purchases. It's an observational study and as such can't establish cause and effect, and the findings might be interpreted cautiously given the uneven sampling the small number of countries involved, and the lack of information on the purchasing behavior and eating habits of those following McDonald's accounts on social media. So we need to be careful in what we decide we want to put into our bodies. And McDonald's is cheap. The dollar menu is infamous. And if you don't have any money, or you live in a low-income area, and you need something to eat and you're desperate and you're hungry, then you'll go buy something for $1 at McDonald's. And if you're in a lower income country, it's probably more impressive that you can eat cheap. But is eating cheap the right way? It can make you sicker because it's not the right kind of food. It's energy and fat and calories, but it's not necessarily healthy or good for you. And if you live in an upper income country, you're probably going to have an easier time finding a dollar menu. But lower income countries get more discounts. Come on over to McDonald's. Have a chicken McNugget sandwich, whatever. However, McDonald's has tried over the years to try to be healthy by offering some salads. They had the McVegan burger for a while, and you could still get it in New York as of about 5 years ago. I don't know if it's still available, but it's there if you know who and how to ask. And the hardcore vegans are against it. They say, oh, McDonald's is a rotten, terrible company. And while that may or may not be true, at least they're trying. And now there's a new McVeggie burger that's being tested in the UK that people seem to really like. It's very healthy. The whole thing, including the bun, is vegan. And when that gets here, that's going to be a good thing. KFC is working on fake chicken sandwiches that are vegan. And as a vegan, I say that's fantastic news. We need to support that kind of effort. We can't ask for 100% because nothing is 100%. But we can try for 10%. We can try for 5%. Because that's how change happens, in small, predictable increments. And speaking of not small and unpredictable increments, the Janna Marie is going to be here in a couple of minutes with her Dr. Janna presentation of medical ASL terms. She's next. Stand by. And we are back. Boles.tv. A couple of things to talk about that are still very interesting. Some of it inspired by Janna Marie and her conversation here with you. Had a little technical incident. We have Stream Deck. Do you remember Stream Deck? We have this thing here where you punch in things and it controls what you see here. You're supposed to punch this and it goes to the ASL screen. And it didn't work. I don't know why. Slobs is Streamlabs for Mac, and that's how you can control advertising and all kinds of things just by pushing a button. But if the button doesn't work, then Janna Marie sits here and doesn't know what to click on. So that's what happened. But it was an opportunity for love and an exchange of Christmas kisses. Now, if you have not visited SOSASL yet, ASL.com, SOSASL.com, as we previously discussed before Janna Marie arrived, go there and click around and tell your friends about it, because it's a wonderful website. We took a lot of time to make this work visually, aesthetically, and simply and fast. It's for first responders to communicate with deaf people if they don't know sign language. Now, our friend Ellie inspired me when she talked about veggie burgers and vegan burgers. Now, in the vegan community, there is a big push to not say anything is vegetarian. They're going to big companies and saying, look, if you're going to make a vegetarian version of your meat patty, why don't you just make it a vegan version? Because usually why it's vegetarian, not vegan, is because they add a little bit of usually eggs or egg white. So just why not leave that out, find a different binder like tapioca, and have a vegan burger, and then you'll have 100% of the market instead of just half of the market. Because vegans don't eat vegetarian food, but vegetarians will often eat vegan food because it's considered safer. So as we were having our wonderful 1-hour ASL lesson in medical sign language, which is fantastic, by the way. I can't wait to put that on video on demand. It's going to be very popular. It got me thinking, well, where can you go right now if you wanted to get a vegan, delicious burger? And there are really two brands that stand out. Beyond Meat is one of them. And they're all over the place. They now have chicken nuggets. They have burgers. Really excellent stuff. And you could buy these at many grocery stores. That's what we have. Oops, from our freezer, right? Beyond Beef. Now, I like these big patties because you can take a quarter of it and cook it up. Oops, I dropped my other thing. And the individual, like these, the individual patties, a lot of packaging. I can make my own burger, make it look like a burger, but they're quite excellent. And the other big name is Impossible. And if I had to pick between two, I always pick Impossible Foods. And they're also into chicken now. Big. Chicken's the new beef, even in the vegan world. And Impossible, you can order online. They're a wonderful company. And their burgers are to die for. This is what... Oh, I forgot the Impossible burger. I'm coming right back. I'm back. So this is what the Impossible Burger looks like. And I like, it also comes in individual patties, but I like the big patty. Because you can make meatloaf out of it. You can just fry it up and then add chili to it and have chili, vegan chili. Now, what's interesting is this is 12 ounces of fake burger, whereas this Beyond Burger is 16 ounces. So technically you get another burger with the Beyond. However, the Impossible Burger is, in my opinion, 100% better than the Beyond Burger. Why? It cooks up better. I'm not saying that it tastes exactly like beef, because you're not supposed to say that when you're a vegan, but it tastes more beef-like. And my suggestion is, when you're cooking, grilling, they grill great. They grill. You use these are 1-to-1 meat replacement. All right. Impossible is better when you burn it just a little bit, get a little bit of crisp on it, and it really tastes delicious. Now, where can you get these things? I made a little note while Janna Marie was giving her presentation. So Beyond Meat is at Golden Crust. Do you know what Golden Crust is? It's like a Jamaican joint, fast food, and very delicious. And they have empanadas made with Beyond Beef. And they're very low calorie. All of these have no cholesterol and lots of protein. And they have a spicy version, and they have a bland version. To my mind, I don't like anything spicy, and the Golden Crust Beyond empanadas are not spicy whatsoever. Oh, someone's moving it there. Also, the Impossible Burger, which is my favorite. Burger King has the Impossible Whopper. Now, some say the Burger King bun is not 100% vegan. I say I'll take 95% vegan over 100% vegan if the option's not there. I'm not a snob about that kind of thing. And the Impossible Whopper is absolutely delicious. Unbeatable. If you want a little more high class, Cheesecake Factory also has the Impossible Burger on their menu. It used to be a giant burger that you really had to split with somebody. Now they've shrunk it a little bit and made it a little bit taller, a little more individual burger that is still very, very good. There's another burger chain called Burger I Am in our area, Burgerim. It's an Israeli company. They have a burger brand, and they have all kinds of burgers. They have falafel burgers, teriyaki burgers, and the Impossible Burger, and they grill it. Absolutely delicious. Now, we get this Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's sells Impossible Burgers, as does Costco. Costco sells big bags, 8 in a bag at Costco. Beyond Burger, Whole Foods. But what if you're not a burger person? Well, the chicken is coming. It's not completely available yet for us to purchase as regular people. They're in restaurants right now. But Gardein is another big name player in health food. And they have this whole new line called Ultimate. They have chicken fingers, and they have these chicken fillets. And they're absolutely giant chicken fillets. I got this from Whole Foods, and you can see right there. Always vegan. One fillet is 23 grams of protein, which is about how much you get in a protein shake. They're fantastic. You can't stop eating them. And it tastes just like any other kind of, I guess, chicken burger. Another thing I love to eat and chop up and put in a salad, this baked tofu. Comes in teriyaki and savory style. It's just a block of tofu. I freeze all of this stuff. When you freeze tofu and then thaw it, it's much better tasting. It has a harder texture. So this is 32 grams of delicious protein. Hodo is another very interesting brand. They have noodles, spicy noodles, and they also have barbecue chunks that are tofu cubes. Very delicious. So there are all kinds of options out there if you want to eat healthy, or avoid animal proteins, or avoid cholesterol, or just to get more protein into your body because you want to be healthier. And now these big warehouse stores like Costco and BJ's have these Impossible Burgers, and let me just see if I can find that. I found it while I was watching Janna Marie, but let me just see if I can find Costco Impossible burger. And here's the picture. It's just wonderful. I've never seen these, by the way. We don't have a Costco near us. But the price is right. Whatever the price is, I'll pay it. And they're pre-made patties. Some people need that. But they're great for grilling. So if you're out with your friends or your family and you want to be a part of the barbecue, just bring an Impossible Burger and put it. It cooks just like a burger. It's 6 minutes, it's done. 3 minutes on each side, and you're finished. And then everyone's going to want to try it. And they're going to love it. Oh, I don't think I showed you this. And they're going to love it. Here's the Impossible Burger in the big bag at Costco. And everyone's going to love it. So bring enough for everybody, because that's what happens. It's new. People think they're going to make fun of you if they're that kind of person, or have their burger moo at you, which they do. Just bring your burger, your Impossible Burger, put it on the grill, eat it, and everyone else is going to try to eat it too. Because it's just that delicious. Well, we had a wonderful show today. Very grateful for Dr. Janna to make her appearance here. And I'm looking forward to part 2, eventually, of medical signs. A lot of information out there. And it's interesting how new information spreads. For a long time, hello, thank you for the follow. For a long time, there was no sign for coronavirus. You just had to spell out the whole thing, coronavirus, and then it was COVID. And then I believe it was the CDC took up the topic and put a video on their website with a deaf person signing and said, this is the sign for this and out, coronavirus. And then we had the sign. That's how it happens. Language is always evolving. Sometimes it goes backward, sometimes it goes forward. And that's why it's important to keep up on what's going on. So tomorrow, Janna is here, going to have a lot of fun. Has some interesting stories to tell. I can't wait to hear them. Always a little bit of teaching, so if you have a question about a deaf person, or disability, or finding work, or employing someone who happens to be disabled, that is her day job, is finding jobs for disabled people. Not just deaf people. She works with all kinds of disabilities. And then, her other jobs are streaming live here on Boles.tv and teaching American Sign Language everywhere and anywhere she can. If you have a question for Janna, you can email her directly at janna@boles.tv. New email address for her. You can email me at david@boles.tv. On Twitter, at David Boles. Facebook, BOLES. And Instagram, Boles Books. Discord server, David Boles. Well, I hope it snows tomorrow. It snowed today, which I think is just enough to celebrate the holiday. But who knows? We might get a little snow or we might get nothing. No one can say for sure. So let's check in one more time with Santa and see where he is in the world now. Oh, he's now in Kyrgyzstan, which makes me happy because he's still on the move. He is completing his rounds and bringing all of the good children of the world wonderful gifts on this holiday season. We started in Japan, went to China, and now we're in Kyrgyzstan. That's so much fun. So for today, I'll say thank you. I will see you again on Monday. If you have any questions or ideas or videos you'd like to share with the show, or images, you know how to find me. And for now, thank you so much. Good day, be well, stay in touch, and have a wonderful holiday. Take care.